Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Siti Ibrahim with a student ID number 4414200014, and I'm from Chemistry Education A. And lead title Module 4 Modification of Sulfur. And literature review: sulfur is a chemical element in the periodic table that has the symbol as an atomic number 16. Its form is a textile, odorless, multivalent nonmetal. Sulfur in its natural form is a yellow crystalline solid. In nature, sulfur can be found as an essential element for life and is found into amino acid. Its commercial use is mainly in fertilizer, but also in gunpowder, matches, insecticides, and fungicides. Solid sulfur has allotropic forms, namely rhombic and monoclinic sulfur. The sulfur that we usually see yellow is rhombic sulfur. Rhombic sulfur below a temperature of 95.5 degrees Celsius. Above 95 degrees Celsius, rhombic sulfur turns into monoclinic sulfur, which then melts at a temperature of 130 degrees Celsius. And next, tool and materials. And tools category 1, and mortar, test tube, glass stirrer, measuring cup, measuring flask, tube clamp, wedge glass, test tube rack, drop pipette, breaker glass, Bunsen burner. And tools and category 2, analytical balance, hot plate, and foam hood. And next, material. The first specific materials and acetic acid, sulfuric acid, potassium chromate, and sulfur. And then general materials and tap water, aqueous, copper sheet, tissue, washing soap, sucrose, ethanol, distilled water, and filter paper. And next, experimental work scheme and modification sulfur. And first, start. 1. Blended 0.5 gram of sulfur in evaporation cup by heating the sulfur until it melts and freezes. And 2. Observe crystal strip. And next, crystallize and finish. And then 1. Heat 0.5 gram of sulfur powder in the test tube while shaking the tube. And 2. Observe the sulfur color change, and the sulfur becomes liquid and finish. And next, start. Put sucrose into the test tube and a few drops of concentrated potassium and not sulfuric acid, and then observe and take a note the activity in test tube. And product sucrose is soluble in sulfuric acid and finish. And next, start. 1. Put 2 ml of acetic acid into the tube, add 2 ml of ethanol and 2 ml of central sulfuric acid, and 2. Heat the test tube using a Bunsen burner, and 3. Observe and take a note the activity in the test tube. And next, write the reaction equation and finish. Next, word scheme, characteristic of sulfuric acid. 1. Heat a piece of copper is a test tube containing 1 ml sulfuric acid, not boiling. And 2. Observe the activity the test tube. And 3. Write the reaction equation. And next, water vapor formed in wall tubes. And 4. Place the filter paper moistened with potassium chromate solution in the mouth of test tube. And 5. Observe in color change in the filter paper. And 6. Write the reaction equation. And product there are yellow spot on filter paper and finish. Next, result and discussion. 1. Result. Treatment for 1. Modification of sulfur. Blended 0.5 gram of sulfur in evaporation cup by heating the sulfur until it melts and let it freeze. Observation: when the sulfur melts, the sulfur is red, and after freezing, sulfur forms yellow crystal. And 2. Heat 0.5 grams of sulfur powder in the tube, And observation, sulfur turns the color from yellow to brown. And 2. Characteristic of sulfur acid. Treatment, heat a piece of copper in a test tube containing 1 milli sulfuric acid, not boiling, and observation, bubbles appear in the tube. And next, place the filter paper moist with potassium chromate solution in the mouth of the test tube. And observation, filter paper that was originally yellow turn white. And next, put sucrose in the test tube and a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid, and observation, the solution discolored to black. And then put 2 ml of acetic acid into the tube, 2 ml of ethanol, and 2 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid. Heat the test tube using a Bunsen burner. And observation, it formed bubbles, smell like wind balloons, and the wrinkle don't change color. And 2. Discussion. And 1. Modification of sulfur. First, modification. Sulfur exists in crystalline form. Crystalline form depending on temperature. In this experiment, sulfur melt because of the nature of the sulfur itself. It will melt if it's above the heating temperature of 95.6 degrees Celsius. After freezing, prismatic needles are formed, namely monoclinic sulfur, are also called beta sulfur. The beta sulfur molecular consists of an sulfur egg ring, which is an octahedral crystal. The second modification, the sulfur powder becomes a brown-yellow liquid because the string sulfur egg broken. If the temperature continues to be raised, the liquid will become viscous and the color will turn dark because the string sulfur egg breaks and forms a chain. And next, characteristic of sulfuric acid. The first step is to heat a piece of copper with 1 ml of concentrated sulfuric acid. When heat, the solution boils. From the result of observation, gas bubble form. And copper is insoluble in acid but can dissolve in sulfuric acid to form copper and sulfur dioxide. Sulfuric acid reacts with copper requires hot, concentrate sulfuric acid, and this reaction products sulfuric dioxide. This happens because hot concentrate sulfuric acid acts as an oxidizing agent. In the reaction that occurs in the above equation, product sulfur dioxide gas, sulfuric dioxide from the reaction between copper and concentrate sulfuric acid, characterized by the presence of gas bubbles. The second observation was that the gas bubble product were tested by placing filter paper moist with potassium chromate above the mouth of the disease caused by the presence of sulfur dioxide gas product from the reaction of copper and sulfuric acid. The sulfur dioxide gas that reaction with potassium chromate, which is marked by a green color on the filter paper, if it is done for a while. However, the result we obtain varies with brown filter paper. The reaction that occurs is, and next, a picture with this brown filter paper. The third observation of the nature of sulfuric acid as a dehydrating agent is reaction sucrose with concentration sulfuric acid. From this experiment, sucrose is black, the equation for the reaction that occurs. And figure is sucrose turned black. It can be seen that sulfuric acid decomposes sucrose of separates hydrogen and oxygen from the sugar, and concentrated sulfuric acid is strong dehydration agent. Dehydration is the release of water molecule from a material that is attracted by a material such as sulfuric acid. The presence of carbon product from this reaction can be seen by the formation of a black color in mixture when added with concentrated sulfuric acid. The fourth observation, the nature of sulfuric acid as a catalyst in the formation of ester, reacting to milli of acetic acid, 2 milli of alcohol, and 2 milli of concentrated sulfuric acid, then heat. And before heating, the tube wall fill knots. This is due to the reaction between sulfuric acid and acetic acid and alcohol. Then it is heat to product are bubbles. The reaction can be read into the equation. From the above equation, it can be seen that the reaction is an esterification reaction where a carboxyl acid is react with an alcohol with an acid catalyst to produce an ester and a water molecule. Here it can also be seen that sulfuric acid as a catalyst in the esterification process. And the experimental result obtained are that it smells like a candy, which indicates that the reaction is an ester. F. Conclusion. Sulfur can be modified, which is scalar and allotrope. The result of the modification are rhombic, sulfur egg. The crystal form obtained is affected by temperature, while sulfuric acid has property as an oxidation agent, dehydrating again, drying again as a catalyst in the formation of ester. That's the presentation of the material modification of sulfur for module 4. Sorry if there are misspelling. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.